Okay, welcome people back to another episode of the Passion Project Podcast. My name is Niels and I am the co-host of the Passion Project Podcast.
And my name is Yuvraj and I'm the other co-host of the podcast. So welcome, Armando Benedetti.
I'm Armando Benedetti, I'm very happy to be here. IE student as well. And
it's a pleasure to have you here, man.
No, it's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure.
Alright, man. So let's just start by you giving us a little background about you and about Madlow events.
Okay.
I think that's a good starting point.
Okay, sounds good. So I'm 21 years old. I grew up in Colombia until I was 8 years old. And my parents had a divorce, and my mom she took a diplomatic role in China, in Beijing. There she met my stepdad. Love him with all my life. From there he got a job in Switzerland. We moved there all together to the French part. And from there I just applied here to IE, to Madrid. Came to Madrid, and then during COVID my family moved to Zurich, to the German part of Switzerland.
It's cool.
I've been here in Madrid for the past 3 years. I think it's one of the greatest cities ever in the whole of Europe.
I can agree.
Facts.
I think
Right now, so
I'm sure.
I mean, just purely,
I've never heard a single person say they didn't like Madrid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
People sleep on it.
People sleep on it, yeah.
All the people that aren't in Madrid right now that kind of think,
It's Madrid.
You're missing out.
Yeah, it's underrated, and it's coming up very strongly. Along with that coming up strongly, Madlow is it's, for those of you who don't know, it's a techno event group that me and a friend started alongside with another partner who's the director of a couple clubs here in Madrid. I'm sure a lot of you, if you go out, you've seen him, Mario Gomez, like short guy, long slick back hair.
That's him?
That's him.
No way!
I'm sure you've seen him.
I definitely know these guys.
We started a bit during when everything was kind of still in the air with COVID here in Madrid. Of course, it was more like limited capacity. We had to be a bit careful with the dance floor and the amount of people that we were letting in and moving around. But we really started analyzing here the city, and we realized that there was no techno events for international people. And you have after brunch, but that's on Sundays, or you have certain other events in Goya or whatever, but we just still felt like we needed an extra push to take it to the next level. And we started a year ago, and the growth that we've had is insane. The amount of progress that we've been able to make, the achievements that we've done, like internally and also externally, like the community that we've built. We've always wanted to be very different. We've stayed away from all like conventional marketing tactics that event groups have, like doing giveaways for a table or doing this for that, or having kind of like very simple flyers where they just show the DJ and then just the name. I'm a creative director of the group, and I've always been a creative person, and I thought, let's do something different. So let's take the flyers and kind of make a story with them. And then when it comes to doing like the final after movie after a whole semester of events, bringing it together so it looks like, oh, this was all thought out. This was all, and this whole new step that we're taking now is the semester we've gone from doing an event every Friday to doing 1 or 2 events a month, to increase capacity, make increase the quality as well. So better venues, greater DJs, bigger community, and we're also stepping into the world of the uncontested land of NFTs.
That's cool, man.
Exactly, because for the night that I went, the DJ actually got an NFT from you guys, right?
Yeah. So it's not fully, like the back end to it isn't fully completed.
Yeah.
But we have an idea of what we want to do with this whole NFT. So the DJ actually expressed a lot of content for it. He really liked it. He thought it was a really cool idea, and he said that he hadn't seen anything like what we were about to do before. And if you want, I can give a little brief explanation.
Yeah, sure, 100%.
Essentially, what we're trying to do is that in every flyer, we make a personalized NFT of each DJ. Like the character has features of the DJ. For example, last one was Landican. He has a mustache, like a very, very iconic mustache. So gave it to him, the green eyes, and then in the background, make something that kind of gives the vibe of the DJ.
Yeah.
Right. So with that, hopefully get a lot of DJs involved and talking about it and having a community around it, and then on top give them utility in real life in terms of if you get the NFT, you can maybe come to an event or.
So it's like an access pass, right?
Yeah, access pass, like a kind of a membership, but in this new digitalized world.
So it does have utility.
Yeah. A lot of projects nowadays. I think you guys had a podcast with someone to talk about
Andres.
NFTs.
Yeah. Shout out.
And something that I don't remember exactly who mentioned it, but like 90% of the projects that you have on there are bullshit right now.
That's true.
They don't have real utility, and the value is like, it has no intrinsic value at the end of the day. It's kind of just whatever people perceive the value to be. It is what it is.
Exactly.
And I thought that we wanted to take kind of that step into the art side of it, but also giving it utility in the long term and in the short term. Yeah,
that's cool, man.
Thank you guys.
So soon we'll be able to buy them. Actually, buy the actual NFT of the DJ.
So essentially, it's gonna be like 50 to 60 NFTs every 2 weeks or whenever there's an event of the DJ, and they're gonna have 5 to 6 different traits, and with the combination of those traits, you can get different perks on the events.
Right.
So like if all the people with the glasses that have the NFT of the DJ with the glasses across a specific amount of time, they can get free drinks for that night, or they can get access to the VIP area. Or
so keep your eyes peeled then. Yeah.
Keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah, exactly. That's cool.
That's very cool,
That's
man.
the plan. Yeah.
Also, like on a tangent though, I remember you mentioned Switzerland. So you studied in the French part of Switzerland.
Yeah.
What school do you go to? Because I studied in Switzerland.
Okay, I was in Lausanne. I was in International School of Lausanne.
All right. I've heard of it.
Yeah.
I was in Aiglon for 1 year, and then I moved to Rosenberg. I don't know if you know Rosenberg. It's in the German part, like an hour away from Zurich.
Okay.
So I was in Rosenberg for like 3 years.
Which part did you like more, the French or the German?
Damn, it's a hard one, man. The French part, the mountains are beautiful. My school was right next to a ski slope, so it was like really cool. But the German part also is like very different,
Yeah.
It's really cool, really like architectural and calm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, both places are good. Which one did you like?
I don't know. I think I like Zurich a lot more than Lausanne, to be honest. I think Lausanne is too small.
It's very small, I know.
Everyone
it's like a one-day event, you just go to Lausanne for 1 day and you go back.
You can go to the 3 restaurants that exist in that place in the 1 day that you're there.
Yeah. I still remember the pizza restaurant. It's called Metropole.
Oh, you know Metropole?
Yeah. It's just like damn famous, man. It's really famous,
No, do you speak German?
No, I don't speak German, but I do speak French. My family just moved to Zurich during the pandemic, and I never had the need to learn German.
Yeah, me neither, bro. I stayed in Switzerland for 3 years. I mean, in the German part, and I still didn't learn German. I was like, no, bro.
It's a hard language.
I'm not gonna lie. I think you're not really missing out. Well, no disrespect to all my Germans out there. Alles gut, wir lieben euch immer noch.
Oh, look at that!
Flex.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
So you guys, I mean, you're keeping it different. That's also something that I would definitely say about how you do your things and how you also present yourself and everything. You're not afraid to be different.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important things in life. You have to be yourself despite of what people are always going to talk. They're going to talk if you pick up a pencil. They're going to talk if you walk a mile, if you walk 10,000 miles, if you build your own business, if you fail in your own business. People are always going to fucking talk. And I've learned that because my dad's a politician in Colombia, and I've always I grew up kind of in a spotlight. So eyes were always on me, and I have the same name as him, so people were always kind of like, oh, is he like his father? Is he like this?
Yeah, I actually Googled your name, and I saw someone with the same name, and I was like, this is not this guy, but is that your dad?
So
all right.
And I always kind of grew up in this, everyone kind of like watching me in a vacuum.
Yeah.
And grow up and everything. And I think from that I learned that I just have to find my own path and do whatever I feel is right for me, regardless of what anyone else has to say. And that's kind of my philosophy in life. Just be different, be you, and just things will work out the way that they need to work out. And that's the philosophy that I took from my personal life into business as well. I think if you want to, it also attracts attention when you're different.
That is true.
It takes one person to make this leap, and then the people that follow you afterwards and make a community are just, are the people who like really resonate with you, and they understand that feeling and that need to be different. And then when I don't know, I think just everything shines different when you're a bit outside of the crowd.
Yeah.
When you're taking a different perspective or seeing things differently, or discussing things that people normally don't like to discuss.
That is
and
true.
just being open about it.
Yeah. Reminds me of a quote, you can either fit in or stand out.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
So it's always a choice.
What type of advice would you have for the people listening right now because it's not easy. It's not easy being somebody that attracts attention, or like not easy being somebody that does something completely differently to other people. Like are there any routines, any advice that you have for the people out there listening right now?
Accept your death.
Accept your death.
Accept your death. I think one of the most important things that you can do for yourself is accept your death and realize that one day everything that you know to exist is just gonna disappear. You're gonna be put down. Of course, people are gonna miss you, but you can't think about that. You just have to realize that at one point you're gonna die, and then it's kind of freeing. In a weird way, it's freeing to realize that, because that means that every embarrassment that you've had, every fuck up that you've had, every success you've had, every rejection you've had will just disappear. The moment you die, it disappears. So if you just take every moment and live it as if it was like the last, then you will have zero regrets or zero cares for what anyone else has to say about you. And yeah, it is difficult to be the one attracting the attention and to be the one to say, no guys, I think maybe we should go this way, or like we should go that way, or do this. But always taking that step will feel scary, but just I feel like if you accept death, it becomes a little bit scarier every time, because you realize that you're giving life your own purpose. No one's giving it purpose but yourself. So you give yourself a sense of purpose in this world, and your purpose is whatever you want it to be.
100%, bro. I couldn't agree more. It also gives you a sense of urgency, because I think a lot of people just forget about death. They try to escape it. They think they live life like they're gonna live forever. Yeah. Which is it's like an illusion.
Absolutely.
And once you accept that, once you identify that, and you actually embrace it, reminds me of the Stoic quote, "Memento mori." I don't know.
Exactly.
Have you heard that?
Memento mori. Yeah.
I was actually gonna get a tattoo with Memento mori.
Exactly.
And it's a Stoic phrase, which means you can live your life like it's your last day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's very powerful.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, life is nothing without death, right?
I feel like it's a scary thing for people to even just think about that. It's like, but it really is when you conquer that, when there's something scary, and then you manage somehow to overcome it. There's always for me, always at least, a series of positive feedback that I see in my life, where I'm like, okay, this was worth it.
Yeah.
It was worth it talking to that person, or whatever, because from that, this and this happened,
right? Everything's connected in one way or another, and you can take that phrase however you want it to be, and a lot of people, I think, misinterpret that sentence and say oh, you know what, everything's connected, what was meant to be will be, and that means that I just don't have to work for anything, and I just have to stay here and everything will fall into pieces. But at the end of the day, everything's connected, but you still have to make that effort and
100%
and work for what you want, and really push yourself at every step. And what you say exactly, maybe I fucked up by talking to that person, but at the same time, I learned from this experience. And then I think that at this age in time, I've had a lot of hardships in my life, and every single time it just gets a bit easier. I get pushed down, and I'll be in the floor, and I'll be like, here we are, another day, another dollar. But
you learn so much from it,
and then
man.
you pick yourself up, and that's when you really understand your strength and the power of your brain, the mindset and the abilities that it had. When you really set your mind to something, or when you bring yourself up by yourself without the help of anyone else, you really feel your own power. And I think that's priceless, to be honest.
Is there ever any experience that you can share with a defining where you took the leap and you did it, and then something happened, what you wanted to happen, or something came from it?
Okay.
Any story or moment from your life?
Top of my mind, to be honest, just this NFT thing that we were talking about recently. My partner in Madlow, he's older than me, and he's quite like traditional in his ways of working, and he's been in the industry for a while, so he has a lot of experience, and he knows exactly kind of like what steps to take when it comes to the operations. But when I was explaining this NFT thing to him, he was a bit iffy with it. He was like, really? Because actually when you're booking a DJ, and a lot of people don't know this, and I think it's really fun to share because it's part of the industry, but when you're booking, when you're booking a DJ, you have to deal with the management, with the booking, and it's a process because sometimes they don't like the flyer, or they don't like the venue, or they don't like certain things, so you really have to kind of like compromise at every step. And he was telling me like, yeah, I don't know if like, you know, if we take this thematic and then one booking doesn't like it, or this DJ doesn't like it, like what's gonna happen, what are you gonna do? And I was like, in the back of my head I was like, shit, should we really change it? People already like what we have going on. And then we sent the flyer to the booking for Landican for the first Madlow of this year, and he loved it. He fucking loved it. The agency loved it. He got a bunch of messages. We had a lunch with him a week ago. He was telling me, look, I've never posted a single flyer on my Instagram as a post, but this, like, I had to post it. It felt like, I felt linked to it, because at the end of the day, most flyers tend to be quite similar.
I want to see the flyer.
You want to see it? Yeah, I'll show you.
Maybe we can put it up.
Yeah, we'll put it up.
We can put it up.
It was
of course. So it was like that.
Yeah.
So that's the DJ, and you know it's all pixel art, so it stays around the theme of like this.
Very different, man. It's very different. Yeah, I like it. It's unique.
It's unique. Thank you very much.
And you met resistance when you
met a lot of resistance when I was trying to present the idea, and then finally kind of we broke through with it, and it was amazing. And now, you know.
And then you were the big man, and now at this point everybody wants to do NFTs.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the things with, for example, being different is that sometimes, and I say this in the most humble way possible, like sometimes you become a bit of a trendsetter, right?
Mm-hmm.
So people like to, once people see that something's working, they will try to get on that ship because it's like, you know, yo, that's working, like whatever. And some people will get on that ship for the wrong reasons, which might be money or whatever. I'm doing it because I'm learning. I'm on a learning curve at the moment. Yeah. I do want to be my own entrepreneur. I do want to, you know, have financial freedom later on in my life. But that's not the purpose of Madlow. Is not for me to make money right now. It's just to learn the industry. And when you're doing all of this and you're being different and you're trend setting, there's always people who are going to imitate you. And you have to also like confront that. Like it's a sort of resistance. Like I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say, but it's like when people imitate you, you start feeling a bit demotivated because even though it's your work that they're copying, at the end of the day, you're still like, really? But like I was trying to be different, and now we're on this like situation. So it's kind of like a complex that I face a lot. But
so you kind of sometimes maybe even feel that little bit of resentment of like you're doing this, but sometimes it's always. I think also I heard some type of quote. You either do something and like stand up and say what has to be said, or you are an adult and you just take it on the chin and keep going. People are gonna do it, and you just keep moving. You know. Yeah.
But I also feel that if someone's copying you, means you're doing something great. You're doing something that is worth.
Is the greatest form of flattery.
Exactly.
But you know, Drake actually has a great quote about this in his song. I think it's Fair Trade. Imitation isn't flattery; it's just annoying me. And you know,
I mean, for sure.
Last year, and then like it was like,
yeah, there are two sides.
I was like jamming to that song. I was like, imitation isn't flattery.
Facts.
But it's a hard thing to deal with because it's you feel the resentment, but you also see someone copying you, and it's like, okay, what do we do here? How do we compromise? But
yeah, but just remember, guys, who did it first. Yeah, you gotta remember. It is a mad thing where you just where you take that step, and then it's like a bit when you're walking across a river and there's a rock and you see somebody walk across it and you know, okay, that stone is safe. Yeah. It's safe. And as soon as something becomes safe, you feel like then people start jumping on. Exactly. But the thing is, one person needs to get on that rock first. Yeah. And has to take on all the risk of slipping, of drowning, all of these things.
Absolutely. That's actually a really great way to put it. You know, you always follow the safe path because you see someone else did it before you.
Exactly.
They took the risk, right? So
It's also that you put so many limitations onto yourself,
mm.
so that you want to copy them because you feel that's safe, but there might be so many other paths to the same destination
Absolutely.
that you've not explored because of your limiting beliefs about yourself or some self-defeating dynamic that you have.
Yeah, that's
You know?
yeah, that absolutely as well. And I think a lot of us put so much pressure on ourselves.
Exactly.
Like I think that since being 16 to being 21, I'm less stressed about things than I used to be. I used to be kind of just all over the place with like overthinking and like this constant anxiety that was eating me alive. And it was like all the limitations that you say that you put on yourself, and you're always kind of like encapsulating. You're trapping yourself in this one box that you can't get out of unless you push yourself. And you know, when you're 16 as well, you don't have that much self-confidence, or you haven't really explored the world to a certain extent, so you don't know how to deal with certain situations. And I mean, I've become conscious of it, and that's why I say that today at 21 I'm less stressed than I used to be, or less anxious, or less aggressive.
Right.
And but I think a lot of people do need to learn that and be more conscious of themselves to let go of those limitations that you speak of.
Exactly, 100%. What's your creative process like? Like, do you have a set of habits that you do that could be like meditation or journaling or lucid dreaming like Emilio does, or any such things that you do that help you get out of your mind, you know, that help you build your intuition?
Right. I say another one of my rituals is boxing. I box a lot. I was doing it a lot more last year. This year I just haven't had that much time, so I do it like 3 to 4 times. Last year I was doing it 5 to 6 times a week. I think it's a really great way to, it's my meditation, I would call it. It's my way of meditating. It's my way of getting in the ring with my trainer and just kind of letting loose whenever I lose energy. You know, I start to think about certain things that have been worrying me or that have been stressing me out.
Yeah. Put it all into boxing.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuel it into
punch
boxing.
It back in, and
Yeah.
you see the punching bag as, you know, all like that. All those non-tangible thoughts, you're able to make it tangible into that punching bag.
Exactly.
You're able to just go ham away on it, and I think that's another thing that really keeps me stirring during the week, because you know I try to not go.
Where do you box?
I box. Actually, have a gym in my building.
Oh, right.
And I have a trainer that I've been with him for 2-3 years now.
All right.
We box together, and you know.
I mean, it really grounds you. Like, I've
Yeah.
done boxing, and it's just like laying it all out, just going ham. It frees you.
Freezing.
And afterwards, you can just sit down or do whatever, and you're just so conscious. It's like spider sense. If a Spider-Man just you feel everything
It's
around
actually
you.
like a beautiful silence, you know? Like after boxing, you just feel that beautiful silence if you've given it your all. Like I've experienced this when I did martial arts, and right now I'm doing Muay Thai.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, so like once you have like a very, very, very intense session, like your mind just is free.
Yeah,
It's just
free,
completely
Yeah.
free.
You're with all the sweat on top of you.
No overthinking,
And it's just
nothing.
like-
Exactly. Again, to that as well. I think I've mentioned this before, but my rule of thumb is always, if I worry about something and I work out and I don't worry about it anymore, it was never important in the first place.
Yeah.
Most of the times, I don't think about this stuff anymore. Like a group project, oh, this person's doing their stuff, all this stuff, and then I work out, and then it's like, oh, it really just doesn't matter. Just the solution is here.
Absolutely.
It's just in the front of your mind. Everything is just all the unnecessary stuff.
100%.
It's just
Doing martial arts, it doesn't give you the time to overthink, right?
Yeah,
You have
absolutely.
To, put your feet
To
and
be
then
in the moment.
you have
You're
to be
moving.
in the moment. Otherwise,
Exactly.
I mean, I practice with my trainer and we do sparring, and I sometimes do it with other of his clients. And I've left that boxing ring with a broken nose like multiple times.
Damn.
And once again, it grounds you, because it's like if you just lose sight of what's happening for a second, or you doze off with some thought that came into your head while you were boxing, you're getting that punch straight into your face, and there's nothing you can do about it.
no,
And
absolutely.
I think that's one of the most powerful things, that it just sits you down. It's like, come back to earth.
It teaches you the greatest life lesson of, I think, all of spirituality, which is stay in the moment.
Exactly.
In the moment, because
Exactly.
you can't do anything, otherwise you're gonna get knocked out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if you're not in the moment, where are you? Like, to be honest.
Where are you,
know?
man? Honestly, you're either living in the past or living in the future.
And, yeah.
What about your intuition, man? Like, I feel like my intuition, just with experience and with age and with being in different situations, it's become more developed, you know, and you feel things. How important is your intuition to you?
My intuition is one of my strongest, like, how do you say that?
Driving force?
Driving force, yeah. It's one of my strongest driving force. And I think I'm very spiritually connected with myself, and I know myself very well. So I think that whenever a little feeling or an instinct comes in, I trust it with everything. You know, and I have certain moments where like I feel like I can predict certain moments of the future. Like, I don't know, I have this very crazy story that I had with my mom when my little brother was about to be born. I had just arrived in China, and of course, she was kind of trying to ease me into Beijing, coming from Colombia to a completely different environment. And she hadn't told me that she was pregnant. And one night we're laying in bed and I put my hand on her belly. And like, this is like 2 months into the pregnancy, so she's not showing any like signs of it at all. I just put my hand on her belly, and I was 9 years old, and I told her, "Are you pregnant?"
That's crazy.
And she goes, "Yeah, how did you know?" Like, I remember this moment so vividly, and since then, I always have certain moments where I'm like, or like, for example, some of my friends from Switzerland were coming to visit me this weekend, and all of a sudden, I was in bed, I couldn't sleep, and I was thinking about some moments from high school. I turned around, I got my phone, and I was like, "When are you guys coming, by the way?" They were like, "What do you mean? How did you know? Who told you?" I was like, "What? I'm just asking when you guys are coming." They're like, "No, we're arriving on Thursday." Like, what? how did I have that? Like, so that's what I'm telling you, intuition to me is very special, because I have those moments where I really feel like I'm truly connected with the universe, and I can foresee certain things, even if they're not so clear to me in the moment. I kind of get like a little small vision of what's going to happen in the next 2 days, or in the next year, or in the next, whatever.
Like a glimpse into the
like
future.
a little glimpse. And I think dreams are also very important. They're like, they kick in with my intuition.
Absolutely.
And, sometimes I've had many dreams where I don't know if it happened for sure, or if it's reality, or it happens again later on in life. And I don't know. Dreams are completely.
Have you had lucid dreams?
Yeah, a lot. I taught
Do you do it like on command, or does it just happen like itself?
So I started by learning how to do it on command. I practiced a lot, like for 2-3 weeks. I bought a course. I went really deep into it. Read 2 books about it. Watched a lot of YouTube videos. There's a lot of shit on there. So I was sometimes in bed, like doing some tricks, like count to 8 and then count to 9 and then do that or whatever.
Or like pinch yourself or something.
Like
if you don't feel it, you're in a lucid dream.
And then I was able to do it on command, and then all of a sudden I stopped having that ability, and to this day I cannot do it on command. But sometimes I'll catch myself in my dream, and I'll be like, "Yo, we're lucid dreaming right now."
That's so cool, man. That's so
fun
cool.
now. And you take kind of control of the situation, and it's very cool because in your dreams you're the creator of your own reality there, right? So you want to see a friend that you haven't seen in a while pops into your head, or you want to be somewhere with someone specific, like you can make it happen in your head, and it's very cool. It's a very cool reality.
Where do you think intuition comes from? Because the fact, I've also, just the other day, there was a penalty in a rugby match, and I told the guy next to me, there's no way he's going to get this. It was super easy kick. I said, there's no way. And he said, nothing, there was no indication. He's a great kicker, everything, that he wouldn't get it. But I knew it 7 seconds before. And he didn't make it. And like, I was so sure, and I knew for a fact that he wasn't going to make it. But I had no way of explaining it. Where does the intuition come from? Do you think it's something that's passed down?
It's $1 million question,
exactly.
right?
$1 million
From
question, right?
1,000 generations.
Intuition comes from your consciousness. But what is consciousness, right? So where does consciousness come from? How did it evolve in our bodies, and how do we live with it? Because I don't know. I think intuition has a lot to do with your past experiences, and I don't know if you believe in this, but past lives and the energy that's around you, that exists around you. Like, maybe past lives might be taking it too far, but the energy that exists around you, that's scientifically proven. You cannot disprove that we are made of atoms. We have an electromagnetic field. We attract things, we deflect things, and we channel in energy, and we let it out, and then we come back in and let it out. So I think it's just a mixture of consciousness and the energy that exists around us. But to be honest,
Some
$1 million question,
Yeah.
and let me know.
Sometimes I feel it's just like we've been in the Stone Age. We've had so many thousands. I don't know how many years, to be honest, but like thousands of years probably of development deep in our DNA in who we are. And I feel like just the most, we took up so much of that, and we are the result of all of these years, all of these centuries. And I feel like we still have some of that. I feel like back in the day, people were far more intuitive
100%.
and far more connected, and far more able to feel.
Our generation's been dumbed down.
It's disconnected.
That's without a doubt. Like we've, I don't know how to make a fire. I don't know how to survive one day in the jungle. If you put me there, I would probably die in 2 seconds. But the people there had to know it, had to learn it, and that knowledge always got passed on. And I think it's very important to always keep in mind the cycle of life when we're talking about passing on and all these past experiences and the evolution that we've gone through, because a plant grows, it rains, the plant grows with the sunlight, and then someone eats an animal eats that plant, then it shits the leftovers, then that creates fertile soil for more plants to grow, and then so that's when I say when everything's connected. You eat it, you shit it, it's in your body, you're it, and
the cycle of life.
it's a cycle of life.
I remember the Lion King thing. Remember
The circle of life.
the
Yeah,
circle of life, the circle of life.
So we're absolutely connected through every means. The Big Bang happened, explosion of 2 atoms. I think it was. I'm sorry, but I think that's what it was.
There are many different interpretations. I don't know.
Like a whole periodic table of elements came from that, right? And all those elements have been brushed through. You can't destroy energy, so keeping that in mind. You have all these processes going on with all these elements that just, they make up who we are as humans. They make up the animals and their ecosystems and their environment. So everything that we truly have around us is things that have been around for millions and millions of years. So it has all the energy charged within, and that means that it has to have some sort of knowledge, whether, for us knowledge is, memory or learning a skill or whatever, but knowledge for a plant might be how to photosynthesize faster, or how to produce certain byproducts faster, or how to spread their seeds so the forest takes it,
Yeah,
So
there's some type
or
of
how to expand, expand
Yeah.
the territory or
Exactly.
something. It's
Exactly.
like intelligence.
Exactly.
Nature has an intelligence that us humans haven't been able to completely tap into.
Mhm.
And I
all
think
we have at some point.
at some point,
And then now we're just like, I feel like there's some memory that we do have in our cells everywhere. And just, if you even look at the particle level, like I heard, when you touch something, you'll never actually, there's always a small, tiny, minuscule space in between.
I've heard of that.
There's
I've heard of that.
particles and everything.
Yeah.
And I heard that when I was about 9, and I was like, there's no way. How do I pick stuff up? How does that work?
Yeah.
But
There's some force.
it gives
Yeah,
you
some
perspective in a way,
Give you perspective, and on top of the fact that you can't see everything that's going on around you. Like actually, me and Emilio were just chilling in one of these rooms the other day, and then there was the AC going down, and then the sun rays were super strong. So for some reason, I could see the shadows of the AC, like the air, literally the air, on the table, and I was like, bro, I've never seen this in my life. Like I've never seen air. You felt it. You get cold, or you feel the strong breeze come in, but I had never physically seen. Like, look, you can kind of see it now.
Yeah.
You see it, it's like
Slightly, yeah.
slightly. but
Yeah.
Oh, we're just tripping.
or we could just be tripping, you never know. But when you see all these different processes and everything that's going on around you, and you just have no idea,
Yeah, I get that.
like the things that you filter into
Yeah.
into your little own micro environment that comes in from the macro environment, it's insane. And yeah, we haven't been able to grasp
Yeah.
everything that exists in nature, and yeah, we might have some small memories of it, but
Yeah.
because I do agree with you that back in the day we for sure had more power over ourselves and more understanding of the world around us and
Yeah.
how we function.
We were more in charge of our consciousness
Absolutely. Yeah.
in the past.
I
That's
feel
what I
like,
feel.
I feel like it's also the Western culture that just, I mean, the British and all these, they came to different, whether it was India, whether it was Nigeria, whether it was whether it was Colombia with the Spanish and all this, I don't know, it's like a blanket over all the other stuff to keep it nice and clean, nice and smooth, just so you don't have all the weird stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And it's there's so many examples all over the world in so many different countries where things have just been erased. The most beautiful parts of cultures, the most significant parts of different rituals and stuff like that are just being erased. It's crazy.
Exactly. And they don't just erase it, they also put like a negative stamp on it.
Exactly.
You know? Like this is wrong, this is not how it's supposed to be done.
Exactly.
And which is like very crazy because then it influences their own people. Like for example, sometimes in India, at least in the modern cities like Mumbai and Delhi, some people are embarrassed to be Indian. You know, they're embarrassed to wear Indian clothes. They're embarrassed to eat Indian food. You know? They're just embarrassed to do these kind of things. So it's like, it's insane.
Yeah, it's a weird world we're living in, that's for sure. And you know, what you said, like, you know, so many things have been erased. How many of those things do we not know about just because they've been wiped out or swept under a rug? You know, like, there's probably so much culture and so much knowledge and so much wisdom out there that we missed out on.
So much richness that
because someone had the power and authority to say no.
And they write history.
Yeah.
History is always a very interesting topic.
Exactly.
I love history, man. I love history.
Exactly.
And it's one of my bread and butters when you know, I sit down and just watch go down the YouTube rabbit hole and I'm all of a sudden I'm learning about like some tribe from 200 years ago. And it's like, oh, no shit. Wow, that's crazy.
But to be honest, like, I don't think that we as humans right now would be able to handle the truth of if everything was just completely history, everything was uncensored and completely objective. I think we would have just an absolute like a heart attack.
Yeah.
If we knew all this stuff that was covered up, all these things, I think the world would actually implode.
100%.
I mean,
we've essentially been lied to.
It's like your whole reality just shatters in front of you.
And all your trust in societies, in governments, all of these things just shattered.
Yeah. Imagine taking someone from North Korea and placing them in America for one day.
Yeah.
They wouldn't think that Kim Jong-il is...
Il is his dad.
Okay, sorry.
Kim Il-sung is the first one. And then the next one, Kim Jong-il,
and then Kim
Jong-un. Yeah.
They wouldn't think that he's the glorified hero that they put him out to be within the country. They would be like, what the fuck? Why haven't I watched, these episodes of that show? Or like, why are these certain things about history that I thought were like true to my belief? How come they're completely different on this side of the world? And why have I never been able to touch this side of the world? Like, why am I trapped within my own land and that I have to live a very customary lifestyle? Yeah. And that's exactly what we're saying. If today someone just came out and told us, yeah, by the way, like, most of the things that you know from history are bullshit, you'd be like, whoa.
And I'm pretty sure that it's a fact that most of the things, the history books, this amazing consensus among all the history books that we know, IB, A-level, these different history books that we have, just...
You never know what's a fact and what's not and what's not, I mean, there's so much unexplored land, even like in the Amazon. Like, I think on the podcast they said there's like probably 5 million hectares or something of unexplored land on the Amazon. And it's like saying that, we study the world, but we exclude India, Yeah. It's like that. It's like...
Yeah, I wish Atlantis was real. No,
it could be.
It could be. I watched the Joe Rogan podcast part thing as well.
Yeah.
It was a bit unclear and everything, but there is something there.
There is evidence.
I want to believe that there was like a town and wait, were they living underwater or was it a city that went underwater?
I'm not too familiar with the whole.
Okay.
I don't think it was underwater. I think it was like in a very secretive location or something like that, and it was like highly evolved people with like, planes and stuff and all these kind of different technological advancements. And then apparently things got corrupted and there was a lot of power, and then something happened and it just got destroyed. They destroyed themselves.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And there have
happen
been
in today's society.
That's also
we're not underwater,
exactly
really could,
exactly. We heard in another podcast that we actually had. I think we didn't capture that part, but there's a theory that again and again in history, people developed too quickly, and then society was destroyed, and everything started again. So like the Egyptians in the podcast that we had with Emilio, we had there was a helicopter hieroglyphic in the pyramid.
Wow.
So imagine they had helicopters, they had spaceships, they had everything. It went too far. The society just imploded, everything. Happened with Atlantis again. Everything went back. And there's nothing left. And we move too fast, we become too cocky, and then everything just goes back down.
I mean, yeah, I can see that happening with us. We're definitely too far ahead of, we're in over our heads with all of technology.
How do you think? In what way?
I mean, we're developing so much crazy technology and so much like intelligence, like computer-powered intelligence, AI. And I don't want to sound like the classic, like, oh, iRobot is about to happen, but a computer understands you. It understands all of us as a society. It has all the information to understand how we function as a society. And here we are making, crazy robots or crazy people that, you want to have robots living in your house and taking care of you at all times and, becoming kind of like this dumbed down society. Did you ever watch WALL-E, the movie?
Yeah, I watched.
I remember, all the fat Americans in the spaceship. I remember
everyone
those.
Goes fat, ends up on a ship, and then you become overly dependent of robots and technology or whatever, and that over dependency will lead us toward doom, because you 100%. Cannot exist if you're just dependent on something that is guiding and controlling your life.
Yeah, and imagine like in a couple hundred years, there's nothing left over, and a new society starts, new people, everything. They know nothing about us. Maybe they find like a SIM card or something somewhere, and
ruins.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's nothing left.
Some evidence for a past civilization.
I mean, I feel like this is the perfect way of rounding this off. Remembering that everything can just explode. Remembering your death.
Absolutely.
Memento mori. Remembering
everybody.
You've got one life. And nobody's gonna remember you like 200 years.
You don't remember the 13 billion years that went before you. You're not gonna remember the 13 billion that come after. So just accept your death.
There's no need to take anything
Beautiful.
seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be like serious about some things, but like you don't have to take your life so seriously.
Understand your passions. I think that's
exactly.
That's my biggest takeaway that I would like to say to the viewers and share with you guys. Definitely find your own purpose, and whatever that purpose is, just go with it. Who gives a fuck if someone's telling you that that's a dumb idea or that you shouldn't do it? Like, just if you trust yourself and you have that intuition that's forcing, like, that's pulling you in that direction, just go for it. Go for it. Like, accept your death and just be happy.
100%.
Beautiful.
All right, so I think now we're moving on to our next segment, which I'm sure you've heard of, the rapid fire round.
Oh God, okay.
Oh God.
So, you have 20 questions.
All right.
That you have to answer in as short a time as possible.
Okay, let's go.
We will be asking. Let me just quickly get my phone. Okay, we'll be asking you these questions, and I will put on my timer right now. It's all relaxed. It's all you gotta do.
As fast as possible, bro.
Try
like,
it.
We had someone on like last week and they did it super fast. I don't want to tell you the time.
What was the time?
We haven't released the episode yet, but as of now.
As of now,
what's the record? Yeah, what's the
125?
Right now,
I think.
Yeah, I think something around 125. We've also had even faster ones, but they might still. You know what? Okay. What you have to focus on. What you have to focus on with this is try. Yeah, or just like maybe we have to do like some type of ritual, something to kind of just focus on. We'll say you've got, as we had in this podcast already, you've got all the answers. You've got all the answers in the front of your brain. That's what you're looking for.
Okay.
Nothing too quickly. If anything.
Don't overthink it. Just go for it.
I'm overthink it, but I won't.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it here.
All right.
Okay.
I'll start with the first one.
Absolutely. 3, 2, 1, go.
Favorite movie?
Batman: The Dark Knight Rises.
Least favorite subject?
Math.
Most favorite subject?
Art.
Biggest achievement?
Madlow.
Favorite brand?
Saint Laurent.
Biggest inspiration?
My mom.
Favorite club in Madrid?
Madlow.
Best piece of advice?
Be yourself.
Your favorite book?
48 Laws of Power.
One thing on your bucket list?
Disappear for 6 months.
Do exams matter? Yes or no?
No.
Best investment?
Best investment, NFT projects.
The greatest life lesson?
Greatest life lesson, your family is there forever, so just, treat them as well as you can.
One superpower that you could have?
Flying.
One country you want to visit this year?
One country I want to visit this year?
Yeah.
Turkey.
Clubs or music festivals?
Madlow.
Mike Tyson or Muhammad Ali?
Wow,
Tough.
Well, but I'm on Mike Tyson.
Yes.
Something no one knows about you?
Oh my God. I talk to myself a lot.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Retired.
Do you feel fulfilled?
Yeah, very fulfilled.
All right, you beat the time.
123. 123.
You're number one right now.
Congratulations.
All right, that's good, man. That's really
123.
good.
Very good. Very good.
Also, when I asked your favorite book, 48 Laws of Power, bro, that's one of my favorite books as well.
Yeah.
I love Robert Greene, like everything that he writes. He's the
amazing.
greatest
He's
author,
amazing.
honestly, man. Because it's like, it's the harsh truth.
It's the harsh
He
truth.
never bullshits. He never sugarcoats anything.
Exactly.
It's just like
I
plain and
think
simple.
Something very special about that book is that you can see examples when he brings up Henry IV or he brings up Princess Diana and in
Napoleon.
the little excerpts or
All these
Napoleon
good-
or
Machiavelli.
and
Machiavelli,
or you even bring or he even brings an example of like recent times and you're like, all of these laws apply to something. A lot of
100%.
people like to say that 48 Laws of Power is a fucked up book. Like I see it on TikTok a lot. And, I spend my time on TikTok. So we all do, but a lot of people like to say that it's a fucked up book because it teaches people to manipulate. And I think that you also have to see it as it's a way to defend yourself against other people's manipulation, because people always, this is another thing, I write a lot of like little quotes that I then make blogs about on my blog page.
You know what, we'll actually put it on. I saw it on your Instagram. Is it Medium?
Yeah, Mando Benedetti.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're going to put it in the description.
Thank
We're going to put it in the description.
Thank you guys. And everyone has their own agenda. Make sure you know where you stand in theirs, right?
Yeah.
So like, there's times where you're dealing mainly in business situations where someone's acting overly nice or too eager to figure something out, and that's when you know that they have a ulterior motive to what they're doing with their actions. And people are very sneaky.
They are, bro. They have so many different masks, so many different faces.
And you just gotta watch out because at this age, like, you can get fucked over big time. And you like, have you watched the Tinder Swindler?
No, I've heard of it.
It is mad. It is
not
mad.
to spoil for anyone who hasn't watched.
You're not spoiling anything. You're not spoiling it.
I mean, the guy who like he duped girls out of $10 million through Tinder, right? We could get fucked over at that point anytime. Like a hot girl comes by and she asks me to lend her some money. Like, I can't say no.
Yeah.
No, but like there's just so many different ways that people manipulate you and extort you and use certain things that they know about you to get what they want. And I'm not gonna lie, I used to, when I was 18, 19, I thought that that was the way to go. Like you have to definitely, like you have to be snaky with people and you have to get what you want and you have to be on top of whatever situation. But as time has gone by, I've realized that that's just a very fucked up way of living, and you're the only enemy that you're really making is yourself.
100%.
If you don't trust anyone around you, and then you are playing with everyone around you, and you start playing with yourself, and you don't trust yourself, who the fuck are you gonna trust, right?
Yeah, and also to when you were 18, 19, you're looking for that answer. You're looking for that thing that says do this. There's still that immaturity. You're looking for an absolute. You're looking for the thing that says do this, and you'll get to this place.
Exactly.
And as you get older, you start to realize it's a lot more nuanced than that. The bits and pieces are amazing.
Yeah.
But you can't, one book, I mean, for some people, it is a way, for example, religious people, a way to live. But most things in bits and pieces is the best way to consume them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also, just adding on to that, in life, we always want to answer the big questions, the big unanswered questions. And I think going back to the point where I made accepting death is just one of those things that you can accept death knowing that you might not know all the fucking answers. You might not know if there's a God. Believe it if you want to believe that there's a God. If you want to believe you're in a simulation, do it. If you want to think that the earth is flat, who gives a shit? Do it. But just have be self-aware. Be self-aware of everything that's going on around you, and just don't focus too much on the noise that's going on around you, and just focus on yourself. And those big unanswered questions will not be so intimidating later on in life, because they'll be irrelevant once you truly have your own purpose and you know who you are.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
And
That's
just one more little thing. Why do you choose flight? We've developed a segment on this podcast right after rapid fire questions, because we always ask the superhero question.
Yeah.
And one time we did not receive the answer of flight
as your superpower.
As a superhero power. Yeah. Why did you choose flight?
Why did I choose flight? So, as much as I like the day, I love the night, because when you're at night, you're alone, and you feel like you're alone in the universe, and everyone might be asleep or doing whatever, and I stay up till 3, 4 a.m. on a regular. And I feel like I'm alone, and I think that if I can just be flying and be alone and have my own space and feel like the world is my oyster, I think that would be one of the coolest things. Like just having that time alone for myself, like in the air while I have all these little people moving around. And
that's why you chose Batman. Only comes out at night.
Yeah.
He doesn't fly, but he glides.
Batman is one of my favorite superheroes.
Okay, that's why. Okay, good memory.
Good memory.
I didn't remember that.
He's Dark Knight Rises.
But that trilogy is the best trilogy I've ever seen, honestly.
Christian Bale, best Batman.
Best Batman.
I know that we're moving.
Robert Pattinson is coming out. What the hell, bro? What the hell? He's like some teen girl.
The mask looks so weird on him. Like, the trailer, I was like, that's fake Batman.
I swear, bro, 100%.
But I think one of the most special things about The Dark Knight Rises out of that movie is that he really gets stripped of all the money, of all the superpowers, which were given by money, by his parents' wealth or whatever. And I think just being stripped and being put in that hole where Bane was, where he grew up, and also. I'm sure everyone's watched that.
Spoiler.
No spoilers, please.
10 years after that.
Anyways, just the way that he's able to bring himself back up, put himself up to strength, have that mindset. I have to save the city. I have to do this, and he does it through his own merit and not through,
just being rich.
Wealth.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that's one of the coolest things that they could have done.
The first movie, Batman Begins, when they show all of his training. Yeah. That he went to, I think he went to the Himalayas or something to train with
the League of Shadows.
The League of Shadows. Yeah. You know the stuff. But that stuff that was very inspirational, and a lot of great lessons to be learned from that movie.
And I resonate a lot with that movie, because I think a lot of people have this very false perception of me that simply because I come from a good family or certain things, I've achieved what I have in my life simply because of that. And I think, of course, it helps me. But it's not the sole reason why I am where I am. It's because I've been able to sit down, put in the hours, do the hustle, discipline, practice, and it's taken me to the heights that I'm at right now. And I resonate with that movie a little bit, because it's like, do things through your own fucking merit.
100%. All right, bro. So there's one more question that we ask every guest. It's the last question. It's called, how do you get rich? Any way you want to interpret it, any answer, any definition of rich, how does one get rich?
I mean, of course, rich, when you say it, just money pops up in the head, but I think being rich is understanding your purpose, first of all, understanding your passions, understanding your weaknesses, your faults, being able to confront your mistakes head on, be able to apologize when you need to, and then once you have kind of all these little things in place that just make you feel fulfilled and make you feel at peace with yourself, everything kind of just starts coming in. Like I was always very stressed when I was a kid, like, oh yeah, I need to start working now, I need to be like, like rich now, like I need to, make quick money, overnight success or whatever.
Yeah.
And then at the time, I didn't really have any business to go off. I was 16, 17, 18. Now at this age of 21, I have more of my self-wisdom, my own wisdom that I've been able to get over the years through those means of just, being okay with myself, being able to sit down in a room alone and just think, brainstorm, meditate, be okay with certain feelings, or, like cry by myself, whatever it needs to be. I think you just need that inner peace in order to do whatever you want and be rich, whether that means being happy rich, or money rich, or wealth rich, or well-being rich. Just throwing rich in there, but
Yeah.
whatever it means to you to be rich, it just comes from your inner peace and your inner self.
That's a great way to end the interview.
Beautiful
Connect
way.
with your inner self.
Connect with your inner self at all times.
I'm
And accept
getting
death.
Memento mori,
everybody.
Memento mori.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you,
It's
man.
been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you guys.
It was a lot of
It's
fun,
such a
bro.
pleasure,
humbled
bro.
to have been on here.
Appreciate it.
It's very nice to see two people from IE, pursuing a very cool project, and
Thank you, bro.
having a lot of cool people. A lot of my friends have been on the project, on this podcast as well, and I'm very happy to be one of the first ones.
Appreciate it, man.
Absolute
Thank you.
pleasure. Thank you, man.